Hello?
Hello.
Hey,
Morning.
you can hear me, obviously?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Perfect.
We're just waiting on our quorum of the committee, and then hopefully shortly after 9 we can get started. We have to do a chair election just briefly, and then we'll jump right in to
Okay.
things.
And I'm just handling the agricultural plastic thing.
Rayburn, the regrets that you heard from people, were those mostly our
Yes.
elected
Um,
officials or the committee members?
I had one elected official being Scott Mackey, and then two committee members.
Okay.
Also, Rayburn, I thought maybe Simon had let you know, but I don't think Simon will be with us today either. He's
Okay.
boarding a plane.
Thank you. That was one that I was not sure of, so I appreciate that. I'll just note that Tara is reaching out to a few members here.
I know that Keith is planning to attend. He mentioned that yesterday. I haven't heard anything from Blair Freeman, so I don't know if he's able to attend.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that.
And we're usually right on time here, by the way, so bear with us.
No worries.
Just reaching out to a couple members here, so we hopefully will hear back shortly. We usually give about 15 minutes to get quorum, and then we'll have a further discussion about what we'll do next.
Out of curiosity, Tara, how many more do we need in order to reach quorum?
I think we just need one more.
Okay.
So Tara,
Yes.
I'm not sure how this got scheduled for a Wednesday, but I do have a council meeting at 10 o'clock that I have to break away at 5 to 10. And those are the first and third Wednesdays is when we have our council meetings. So just, that's why I rushed into the office to be here for Zoom for an hour. And then,
I'm anticipating that we're probably going to lose quorum because there are a few people that have to leave around 10 or 10:30, and unfortunately we just weren't aware of that ahead of time. So we'll get through what we can once we get one more member, and then we may have to look at moving a few items around to the next meeting. That's pressure for whoever the chair will be when we do the election. Rayburn, given our recent vacancy, we can do a recalculation of our numbers and consider quorum 8 to go forward. So if you want to kick things off, go ahead.
Thanks, Tara. I just noted too, it looks like Keith has just joined, so I'll just make note of that. So it looks like we have 9 members. All right, good morning, everyone. I will just note Tara referred to a recent vacancy. Member Simpson has advised that he will be resigning, so staff will be looking to fill that vacancy in the near future. So, as this is the first meeting of 2025, the first item is electing a chair and vice chair for 2025. I will open the floor for nominations for a chair of the committee. Are there any nominations? I see Member Hutchinson with your hand up.
Thank you, and I would certainly nominate Lori to return to the role. Thank you.
I'll second that if you need a seconder.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for chair? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close nominations for chair? Member Keaveney and Member McQueen. Thank you. And Member Smith, I'm just looking to confirm whether you wish to have your name stand for chair for 2025.
Yes, I will let my name stand. When I heard that there's going to be more stress in this meeting if we don't have quorum, I was unsure, but no, we'll do it again.
Thank you, Member Smith. I will note you've been acclaimed chair for 2025.
Thank you.
Next, I will proceed with nominations for vice chair for the year 2025. Yes, Member McQueen.
I'll nominate Keith Reed.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Keaveney. Are there any other nominations for vice chair at this time?
I would nominate Blair Freeman.
Thank you. That was Member Reed. Is there a seconder for that? Don't believe I see. Oh, Member Smith. Thank you. Member Freeman, do you wish to have your name stand for vice chair?
He's trying to get out of a job. That's fine.
Thank you. So at this time, I have Member Reed and Member Freeman nominated for vice chair. Member Reed, I just want to confirm whether you wish to still have your name stand.
I would so decline. I appreciate the nomination, but at this time, I think I should step back.
Thank you. And Member Freeman, do you wish to still have your name stand for vice chair?
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay, can I now get a motion to close nominations? Councillor Hutchinson and Councillor Matrosovs. Thank you. So Member Freeman has now been acclaimed vice chair for 2025. So Member Smith, I will now turn it over to you. If you would like, I can send you the cover letter of the agenda, or if you're ready to proceed, feel free.
Need to roll, I think. Welcome to today's Ag Advisory Committee meeting for March 5th, 2025. Thank you for putting me back into this position for another year. Appreciate that. First off, any declarations of interest? If you have one, please raise your hand. Seeing none, if any should arise during the course of the meeting, please make us aware of that at that time. We have one delegation today, Shane McKenna from Creative Polymer Solutions. Shane, are you ready to take it away?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just give you a brief introduction here of my background. My family founded a color concentrate business back in the 70s. So I've been involved in plastics my whole life. Kind of started cutting my teeth at a company called Caracolor, which again was family owned. That was in North Carolina. I then returned, I was probably when I was about 28, to work at Optima Color as a general laborer, then ultimately landed as a laboratory manager. That company was also family owned. During the course of time at that company, I provided polymer consulting services at the University of Guelph. And that was for SHRED research, scientific research and experimental development. We were actually de-risking a project, and it was pertaining to agriculture. That's when I met Don Knott, and he had founded Switch Energy in roughly 2011. I partnered with him in 2014, and together we built an agricultural washing system that was shredding, washing, drying, and pelletizing the plastics. We did the service for a number of years for free. We grew the service to over 2,000 farms. And then unfortunately, fast forwarding, we met with a company called Enviroplast, which was based out of Quebec. We made a formal supply agreement with them to supply them agricultural films and plastics. And unfortunately, within a year, they declared bankruptcy. And this was after we had sold them our core assets. So we were kind of dead in the water, but putting our heads together, Don and I and his son and our team, we brainstormed and decided to keep our recycling services going. However, we did have to make the decision to start charging the farmer. So no longer could we remunerate our costs through the sale of the recycled bale wrap. So unfortunately, this inevitably shrank our collection footprint. So if you fast forward to today, Switch Energy is still alive and well. We're looking to expand. We've actually transferred ownership to a much kind of younger generation. Don is, I believe, going to be 85, 86 this year. So he's got other interests. But yeah, we're looking to expand and work with municipalities. And I had the pleasure of meeting Tom Hutchinson, and he's since allowed me to kind of throw my hat in the ring here. So I'm just trying to gain a better understanding of what kind of recycling services Switch Energy can offer you guys. We have several ideas. And that's, again, why I would like to better understand. But one thing we've looked at is we could provide you with on-site bins to the West Grey landfill or transfer stations. These bins would need to be distinctly labeled for bale wrap only. They would need to be monitored. We have brought in material before from landfills or transfer sites, and unfortunately, they tend to be very contaminated if nobody's keeping an eye on these things. So another thing we could do is provide a dedicated truck and propose bale wrap drop-off dates. And we could actually do live collection there. We would just do a live load, and we could host that a couple times a year. The other thing we could do is provide on-site bins, but you guys would ultimately be responsible for dropping them off to our depot in Clinton. We would have to discuss tipping fees. And then basically, if you review labor costs of collecting the film, like you're roughly around 10 cents a pound to put a guy out on the road and go collect this. And this is farm gate collection services. Like we go direct to your farm gate. Yeah, basically, I guess, yeah. And what we would do is you would bring the material to us, we would weigh it, and then we would kind of create some kind of internal auditing system. That way we could at least, we've got to show that we are recycling. I know this is going to be a big thing in the future. So yeah, if you guys would let me come take a look, or if I can gain a better understanding, by all means, I'm willing to work with you, and I appreciate the opportunity. But yeah, I think we can definitely create a custom solution for you guys and kind of standardize this stuff. I think that was a lot quicker than 10 minutes. Is there any questions?
Thanks for that, Shane. It looks like you've already got a couple questions. Diane?
So if you were to if we were to have bins on our farm, would the plastic need to be cleaned without any residue on? Is that how?
It would need to be fairly clean, but let's clarify, we don't want to put bins on the farm. We would put them at the transfer stations because we're already doing a direct farm gate pickup. And that's done through our bagging services. Like you actually bag the bale wrap and then you call the hotline and the truck comes directly to you when you're ready for pickup.
And there's a fee for that?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. Randy?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Smith, and thank you, Shane, for attending today's meeting. When Councillor Hutchison mentioned obviously the business, I think one of the things that we've been working on with Grey County and collaborating with some of our member municipalities is looking for opportunities to divert waste from our landfill sites. And through the conversations that we've had with this Agriculture Advisory Committee, bale wrap recycling has come up in previous topics and discussions, and it's been discussed with the Waste Management Community Practice Group as well. So I think following feedback, obviously today from the Agriculture Advisory Committee in terms of, you know, what would work best from a farmer's perspective for a program. This is something that I think we could take back then and discuss further with our waste management group. So it's made up of all waste managers and staff from across each of our 9 member municipalities across Grey County. And so some of the things that we would obviously explore is going through some sort of procurement process potentially to do like a joint procurement to look at opportunities to maybe have, like you suggested, Shane, maybe central locations and pick up at, say, waste transfer stations and landfill sites. So that's one potential option. And so these are the things that we're trying to explore with that group. And then the intent is to finalize a report to present to all of our respective councils in terms of how we might be able to move forward to just divert more waste from our landfill sites. So really appreciate, obviously, you coming today and look forward to hearing any further feedback from this group that I could maybe take then to that waste management group and discuss further.
Sure. Yeah, there's a good healthy appetite for recycled plastic. So yeah.
Thanks, Randy. Paul?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. And I know bale wrap is certainly an item that we would like to see recycled. And I know a few years back in Grey Highlands, we were collecting it because we did have an agreement with a company, but then things changed and something happened and we ended up having to bury it. We had collected it and nobody came to the point of collecting. We had a special area that was in cinder blocks or the big concrete blocks, and that we had quite a collection, but it got to the point where nobody could collect it. and then we had to bury it. So it's certainly great to hear, and certainly, you know, I know from if there's a bit of effort put into it, if you take, you know, individual wrap off a bale and you take the time to cut it, fold it up, you can probably keep it fairly clean. Sometimes you get into a spring situation where it gets muddy and stuff like that. You can't help it, but probably 2/3 of the year when it's dealing with snow and stuff like that, if you take the time, you can manage it to keep it clean. So, and I guess the other question I do have is not only just bale wrap, but a lot more farmers are using net wrap, and there is some twine. I don't know if there's a market for that, because net wrap is
Working on that. It is a tough sell. That stuff is difficult to process. It's typically way more dirty. There's a lot more organic.
Yeah,
but yeah, we definitely have something in the pipeline. I'm hoping I can have more news on it, because at this current time, we're not taking it in because, well, we're taking propylene twine, to clarify, but not net wrap.
Okay.
So we can handle twine and bale wrap. Yeah, so absolutely. We're tackling a project now slowly on Manitoulin. There's another 250 tons that have been abandoned up there, and they just don't want to landfill it. So we're going to do our every effort to get it off that island.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul and Shane. Blair?
Thank you, Shane. That was great. Comment. So we would currently bag and recycle or return all of the net wrap or the film that we're currently using. Just a thought would be whether there would be a possibility to partner with the Clean Farm initiative that's collecting old and obsolete items from farmers already. So they would have a number of drop points and collection days throughout the calendar year. By my way of thinking, that would be better than dealing with a dumpster at a transfer station that's guaranteed to end up with a bunch of garbage in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily disagree, but I mean, there's 6 landfill sites now that I'm aware of. Like, we've been cleaning up Clean Farms stuff for a little while now. I don't necessarily think it's the best look for Switch Energy, but always open to any kind of potential opportunity.
What do you mean by cleaning up, Shane?
We quite regularly have to go around and we have Clean Farm bags at our depot probably at least once a week. There's somebody that's called and said Clean Farms isn't coming to pick this up. Can you come get it for us?
I'm talking about, so if there's an actual collection day, that can there be a truck that's there that farmers can take their stuff to that collection day, for instance? I'm not talking just the drop point.
Okay, yeah, going back to my one point. Yeah, we could do basically like a live load as long as we knew the date. We would be there. And
to me, that model is more appealing. There's a collection day, or there's quarterly collection days where there's a truck at. I'm just saying if there's an opportunity that you could partner and do it at the same location and time as some of these old and obsolete collection days, make it a one-stop shop.
I think the one benefit to that is our employees would be on site, potentially myself, and it would be a great way to educate the farmer and get some feedback from them, what they like and what they dislike. So I would be open for that.
Perfect. Anything more, Blair?
I mean, from our perspective, I don't think the cost is necessarily the barrier. Like, these, what do they cost? $2 a bag for these blue bags? Like, it's not a lot. It's more just the time and the effort that I think is the barrier for some folks. But that's just our view.
Perfect. Thank you. Keith?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Lots of good information. And I know that this topic has been brought up quite regularly over the years. So, and over the history, I think we've been spoiled too, because we've had a free service where that truck came, and it was really really a great service. And I think for us too, the barrier is not the $2 bag fee. I was wondering, I know that we had issues in the past. I know they were dropped at the Sand Dome in our municipality, and then it was picked up just by the staff, curling the bucket into the sand, and then that went into the dumpster, and that I think was a huge concern and caused a big issue carrying sand down to your facility. I kind of agree with Blair's comments and wondering about actually there's lots of large farm yards too that maybe there would be a potential just to kind of look at neighborhood drop spots as opposed to going to transfer sites. You know, a quick load up of a dump trailer with a loader would be easier to fill a bin in someone's yard and safer than if you're going to somewhere to drop it like that. So just putting that out there, and we do appreciate your work. And
We actually see that within the Mennonite community. They seem to consolidate within, and then supposed to going to 4 to 5 different farms. Yeah, we only go to one. So yeah, it's on the table.
I know that's happening in neighborhoods already. I know in our neighborhood that's happening. People contribute to one farm and then the bags go to you from there. So certainly doable. Randy?
Yeah, just wondering, is this a all year round thing, or is there certain times of the year that you'd want to see, maybe if there was, like, again, central drop off locations or pickup locations with a truck? Would there be a site? Would it be, say, like Shane noted, I think a couple times a year? Is it something like you'd want to see, like,
Well,
quarterly
it's obviously,
potentially? Or I'm just wondering if there's any feedback too from yourself, Shane, or from the farmers based on what you've heard in the past.
well, we try to stay away from any kind of wet weather. I mean, if we get a nice streak, it's like spring's good, fall. But yeah, we are on the road year round. I mean, the dairy farms, the cattle certainly don't stop eating. So, and likewise with the beef. So, the volumes are obviously they go. They're a little cyclic in nature. Yeah, depending on the weather and whatnot. But yeah, volumes are higher in the spring, but pretty static over the course of the year.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Shane, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation this morning. Good conversation. And if anyone has other thoughts, perhaps send that to the county, or we'll follow up and make sure that you are aware of what's going on. We look forward to seeing what the Grey County thinks and what the municipalities are considering as well. But definitely this is something farmers need. So I thank everyone for their efforts to making this happen.
Thank you.
Okie doke. Going on to items for direction or discussion. First up is status of forest management bylaw review. Scott, are you doing that, or is Sarah?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In this case, it'll be Sarah doing the next 2 items here.
Thank you. Sarah?
Thank you, Chair. Not too terribly much to update everybody with. Sorry, I didn't turn my camera on. Just that we have now received direction from council to move forward with both. I guess I'll speak to both of them, both of these items. So we'll be moving forward. We're working with our clerk's department right now to establish some dates that hopefully correlate, don't correlate with planting season. So we're hoping to have those late April. We're expecting probably, or we've been told that planting probably be a little bit late just with all the snow and weather that we've been having. So we're hoping to correlate that. So once we have those dates, we will make sure that we coordinate with you folks to let you know. And we plan on having some form of open house and public consultation. And I think the anticipation is that there will be an opportunity, if you can't attend those meetings, to also provide comments in any capacity. So not much has changed basically since I had made those presentations to the committee last year. But yes, we are moving forward with those in the public consultation phase.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Does anyone have any questions or comments to Sarah based on what you saw in the meeting package? Paul?
Sometimes it's hard to find that off mute button. Yeah, thanks for that information. And I was just thinking this morning, I didn't get a chance to pop over and see you, Laurie, was back in when the county was doing their green and gray, and with regards to the corridors and all that stuff, there was a workshop held at the Gray Ag Services, and I'm presuming maybe that's what you're thinking about doing or something like that, because I know that was quite successful, and you'd have to be advertised that could go over the bylaw with regards to the cutting bylaw and maybe the beaver coyote as well, and you could combine the two, and that way you could, sort of, I mean, the Ag Service office is quite central to Gray County. And I think it, it allows that sort of atmosphere where, farmers and rural landowners could come in. And maybe there's another one planned for the county building as well. But I just think it did work very well when that was going through that process of the planning. And I just think that could be an option for mirroring that.
Certainly, we are willing hosts whenever Grey County wants to do anything here.
I don't think anything's off the table right now. We want to reach as many audience members as possible. So if that would work really well, I think that would be something that we would be open to, definitely.
Any other questions or comments? I'm seeing none. Sarah, thank you very much for that update this morning. We appreciate that. Next is 5C, Regional Agricultural Learning and Demonstration Site. And this would be?
This will be me, Madam Chair. So
Thank
I
you.
am just going to take a moment here and share my screen. Could someone just please confirm that they can see the slides up there now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Agricultural Advisory Committee. I'm excited to be here before you today with a long-awaited update on the Regional Agricultural Learning and Demonstration Site. And for some of you, this might be the first time you're hearing it, but for others, you might have been hearing versions of this presentation for over a decade now. And with respect to the presentation, I should note that this presentation was put together by Hilary Bredner of the Owen Sound Agricultural Society. Hilary has done a wonderful job. And so if you're used to seeing my presentations that are 99% text, this is almost the exact opposite. There's lots of wonderful photos and information in here. This presentation was originally put together for the Niagara Escarpment Commission. We had the opportunity, Hilary and I, to present in front of the commission last month and to get their early feedback on the Regional Agricultural Learning and Demonstration Site, Niagara Escarpment Plan Amendment. So you can see the site there highlighted in red. The site is directly to the west of Grey Roots Museum and Morriston Heritage Village. The site is on the north side of Grey Road 18 and is currently used primarily, is currently farmed with a small portion in the northeast corner shared by the Specialist High Skills Major in Agriculture program, which divides their time between portions of this site and the existing Grey Root site in this regard. And so the location of this site is no coincidence. One of the main reasons for looking at the site is because it is immediately adjacent to Grey Roots. And staff see the opportunity for lots of collaboration here between what we're calling the RALD site, the Regional Agricultural Learning and Demonstration Site, and Grey Roots. There's lots of opportunity for shared infrastructure, such as using Grey Roots' existing parking lot and the existing entrance that has been built. We see lots of educational and collaborative opportunities down the road too, just as we're already seeing with the Specialist High Skills Major in Agriculture program. So in that regard, I will say that Savannah and Steve and Jill from our Economic Development, Tourism and Culture Department have been wonderful advocates for this program and have been really instrumental in putting together some of the ideas for this site alongside the two agricultural societies. I will also say that the site was graciously donated by a local farmer for these purposes, which is absolutely tremendous and just shows the community desire and need for this program. So with that, we have two local agricultural societies that are looking to partner with the county on this project, as well as more recently the Blue Water District School Board. The younger of the two agricultural societies is only over 160 years old, and the other one is 170-year-old. So strong roots in our community, and both in recent years have faced challenges with respect to their fall fair locations. So similar to the comments from economic development staff and previous warden, we are in fact stronger together. So if the two agricultural societies can come together and partner on this project alongside Grey County and any other willing partners like the school board, we truly believe this will make for a better site, which will offer wonderful service to both residents of Grey County, the farm community in Grey County, and hopefully tourists and visitors in that regard as well. So what are we proposing here? So this subject property is within the Niagara Escarpment Plan area. So this means there's not zoning on the property. It's actually covered by the Niagara Escarpment Plan, which is regulated by the Niagara Escarpment Commission. In this case, the exact proposal doesn't 100% fit with their current plan, so we're having to apply for what's called a Niagara Escarpment Plan Amendment. So for those of you that have had some dealings with the planning process before, this would be similar to an official plan amendment or a zoning amendment, but it's just at one higher level at the Niagara Escarpment Commission. So with respect to the site itself, you can see Grey Roots here and the Heritage Village just to the east. There are some current uses on the site, including this greenhouse and sugar shack, and there's a small shed there that's used by the students and the teacher of the Specialist High Skills major in agriculture program. But then longer term, we are proposing, or the two ag societies are proposing additional buildings on site that would be used for both the fall fairs, but also for year-round usage. So they're looking at both a cattle barn and a cattle ring for showing. At different times of the year, there could be a temporary tent in this location, and then they'd have an office and home craft building that would be used not only for the fair, but also to help host events and provide meeting spaces for local agricultural organizations and or groups like 4-H. And so one of the key things behind this site is how do we activate the site the rest of the year? So if you think of the fall fair maybe being about 5 days in length, what's the site going to look like for the other 360 days a year? So there would be crop areas. They're looking at some orchards. We're also looking at some interpretive walkways around the perimeter of the site to teach people about maybe the site's history, but also about the heritage of agriculture. And they're looking at facilities that would be used in portions of the year for midway or the truck pulling demonstration or demolition derby. For more so for the fair sites. So it would be a mix of both temporary and permanent uses on site. And one of the strong goals of this site is to look at connecting people to agriculture. And so it could be connecting people to agriculture in terms of the heritage of agriculture and learning more about the history, but also hopefully learning about the future. And through the education that goes on site with the Specialist High Skills major in agriculture program, hopefully we're helping inspire that next generation of farmers that are going to pick up where our ancestors have left off here. So there are a number of uses. I'll just go through these slides fairly quickly. We've talked about the Specialist High Skills major in agriculture program. We're also looking at demonstration farming, so it might be different plots testing out different things or showcasing heritage varieties of certain products in that regard. There could be ongoing livestock demonstrations there throughout the year. They're looking at a beekeeping area. As I noted, there is the existing greenhouse and maple sugar shack. And we're also looking at different local tree species plantings in this regard. There's also a proposal for a temporary farmers market there at different times of the year, cattle displays and competitions. Some of you may be familiar with the Harvest for Hunger event that goes on each year. As I said, hosting places for 4-H clubs and generally looking at youth and family focused agricultural events and programming. We have other events such as the Growing in Grey event that goes on annually, school fair. Some of you will be familiar with the long-standing Sydenham Fall Fair. They used to use Grey Roots for their host location. And then when the schools got amalgamated and it became East Ridge School, they sort of outgrew Grey Roots. And so they've been looking at a variety of different solutions since then, including using Grey County Sydenham campus. But the thought would be between Grey Roots and between this Rald site, there would be a bigger location for fairs of that size and that duration. They're also looking at homecraft displays, the possibility for things like steam shows or threshing displays, dog shows. You could have equipment displays or antique tractors or trucks in that regard as well. We've already kind of talked about the buildings on site, so I'll just skip through this slide. And again, it's really about that collaboration and those educational opportunities, whether you're a visitor that just wants to, learn about agriculture for an afternoon and an evening at a fall fair, or whether you're studying agriculture to potentially make this a career. So we've listed a number of the different existing community events and engagement opportunities there are, but in speaking with the agricultural societies, they're certainly open to new ideas and new events in that regard as well. As I said, one of the prime prime reasons for this is the location. And it is immediately adjacent to Grey Roots, and we see lots of opportunities for further collaboration, partnership beyond what's already going on with the Specialist High Skills Major in Agriculture program. That shared infrastructure will certainly help in terms of not having to build a big new entrance onto the county road or possibly look at turning lanes in that regard. And using the existing parking infrastructure at Grey Roots, which, other than large events on the Rald site, should likely be sufficient for many of the visitors. We also see opportunities for programming collaborations in that regard as well. So if you think about some of the past popular events that have gone on at Grey Roots in the Morriston Heritage Village, one of the most popular ones in recent years was the Saints and Sinners event. So think about if you went and you learned about the Saints and Sinners, but then you could also walk next door and maybe see some heritage varieties of apples growing there, or connect people to the production aspect of that. So that's just one example, but we see lots of opportunities for visitors and learning experiences in that regard. Whether you came to Grey Roots for Grey Roots and stumbled upon the Rald site, or vice versa, we'd love to have you visit the sites in that regard should this get approved. And as I said over and over, this is strongly built in collaboration. It was first the two agricultural societies that came together. They approached Grey County many years ago, and we've been working with them. And I apologize to both agricultural societies. It's definitely taken longer than we thought to get to this point, but we have reached an important milestone in terms of having now submitted the application to the Niagara Escarpment Commission and presented in front of the Commission. And while the Commission hasn't made any decisions yet, certainly the feedback we heard at that meeting was very positive, and they've noted, this was prior to the provincial election, they noted that following the provincial election, they would look to circulate this application and start to get public and agency feedback in that regard. Oops, sorry. And I don't think I need to say any of this to this audience, but we were put in this slide largely for the Niagara Escarpment Commission. But really, it is about preserving and promoting agriculture. Agriculture was and still is one of the key drivers of Grey's economy in this regard. And certainly if we look at some of the things that are happening to our south at the moment, our local food sources and agriculture will become even more important. We really want to educate both visitors to the site and hopefully those next generations of farmers, and strengthen those community bonds that you get by visiting and learning in that regard, and providing that direct connection to where your food sources might be coming from in that regard. And this is my final slide. And again, this was done for the Commission. So we were seeking ultimate approval by the Commission of the Niagara Escarpment Plan Amendment in that regard. And as I said, we look to work to collaborate with NEC staff as we go through that public agency and commenting process. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen, and certainly through the chair, happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thanks, Scott. That was very exciting. And so anyone have questions or comments? Andrea, please.
Good morning. Thank you. And an excellent presentation. Absolutely. So I think that's encouraging that that's what you presented to the Niagara Escarpment Commission. My question through the chair would be, in addition to the two key agricultural societies that are putting forth this application and look to make this their home site, when you mentioned, Director Taylor, when you mentioned the Heritage Path opportunity to go around the perimeter, etc., is that going to be an extension invitation to like I sit on the Beaver Valley Agricultural Society, for example, to showcase Grey County agricultural communities, and seems like a great learning opportunity.
Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for those comments, Warden Matrosovs. Yeah, I think that would be a great opportunity. And I know in speaking with the two agricultural societies, they are keen to partner. One of the things we'd also talked about for that those walking paths would be potentially collaborations with Indigenous communities and reaching out to the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation to see if we can highlight the shared heritage of this area over time and memoriam. And maybe even speak to significant plants or agricultural practices that have been used by Indigenous communities for centuries in that regard. But certainly, if there are those in the community that you think we should connect with, we're certainly open to feedback. And this is a collaboration, so I certainly can't speak for the agricultural societies, but so far they've been absolutely wonderful partners and very open to new ideas and enhancements of the site, if you will.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that's an excellent point, because then as people are coming, as you mentioned, going in and out of the Grey Roots Museum and then discovering this, it'd be wonderful if this was an opportunity where they could actually see what's going on all over the county in terms of agriculture. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Perfect. Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, just to be brief, I will say I want to thank the County of Grey and Scott and your staff for carrying this forward. I know this has been sort of almost back to, I think, 2010, 2012. And I know when I was an Agri-Escarpment Commissioner, we had a working meeting at the Grey Roots, and we had that introduction to that idea. The commission was very supportive, but since then the whole commission and the staff have all changed. So you know, it's like Groundhog Day, keeps moving forward. But certainly, I think the appreciation and the reflection of agriculture here in Grey County, and it just sort of makes sense, and it really ties well with Grey Roots. And I think with the county taking that lead, it really helps to streamline and just for the commission, and seeing that you know it's an upper tier, or upper tier government that's moving forward with this, that's representing a number of the stakeholders in Grey County. So again, looking forward to this coming to its fruition and to the end, and having lots of events there. So again, thank you for all everyone's doing.
Thanks, Paul. Blair?
Thanks, Scott. Just side question, wondered if it's worthwhile, or if you've had any discussions with the Bruce Trail group about making a side trail over here and discussions with them.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair. I see Savannah has her hand up. I wonder, Savannah, did you want to speak to this one, or did?
Sure, thank you. Through you, Chair. I just wanted to note that that's actually one of the things we built into our Economic Development and Tourism Culture Master Plan for Grey Roots specifically, looking at innovative practices to see what opportunity there might be to find a way to make a connecting trail between Grey Roots, including the Roald site and Inglis Falls, to be able to connect over to the Bruce Trail. So I just wanted to put that out, that it is in a plan that we have, and hopefully we can look at that in the next couple of years.
Are you all good, Blair? Looks like it. Keith, please.
Yeah, so obviously very exciting to see this coming forward too. And I guess in my mind is funding, and how does this all take place? We've been taking our kids around to most of the fairs. We've been doing the circuit in Ontario here for the last little while. And so we're going to, sites like Barrie Fair and Markham, which are fairs that have had real estate that they've sold within their city limits, and now have had a lot of money going into their new sites that they've purchased outside of those regions. So I know that looking at Chatsworth and Owen Sound, I don't think that that's the case. Just wondering, how do we finance something like this to make it happen for a whole community's benefit?
Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your questions, Member Reid. The fundraising is something we've had some preliminary talks with the agricultural societies on. The initial concept for this site was that the land was going to be donated directly to the agricultural society, or societies plural. In this case, for a number of reasons, it made more sense because they were still two separate entities, for the land to be donated to the county, and that was done with a memorandum of understanding with the agricultural societies that, excuse me, the county would hold these lands temporarily, if you like, but ultimately, at some point in the future, if this gets approved and established, it would be turned back over to likely a new entity in terms of a joint agricultural society in that regard. So the county, because we have planning resources and heritage and economic development resources on staff, agreed to do a lot of the legwork for the site in terms of taking this Niagara Escarpment Plan amendment through the process and helping with the justification and everything else, and working with our wonderful Transportation Services Department as well. But it wasn't the thought that the county would necessarily be the funder or the operator of the site in terms of the future infrastructure on site, like the barns and the cattle ring and everything else. So what we've had preliminary discussions with the agricultural societies on is future fundraising efforts. It's a bit of this is an odd analogy to use at an agricultural advisory committee, but it's a bit of a chicken egg scenario because you don't want to get too far down the road of fundraising until you get your Niagara Escarpment Plan approval, plan amendment approval. But if you get that Niagara Escarpment Plan amendment approval and you've got a lot of goodwill and excitement in the community, ideally you'd like to get going as soon as possible. So I think there will need to be further discussions to be had there. I think the Ag Societies would definitely be looking for any grant opportunities that might be available from the province or other organizations. There are some that come available for agricultural societies, but there isn't a fully fleshed out funding plan for that initial capital of the construction of the site just yet.
Keith, any follow-up?
No, that's good. That's a fair answer. So no, was wondering. I know that right now the site, if you drive by it, you can barely pitch a tent on it. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cost to even get it level to make an area that's going to work. So awesome.
With a Grey County Soil and Crop hat on, as soon as I see demonstration plots in the presentation, I think about how Grey Soil and Crop can maybe get involved. So I'd be interested in knowing. You have a section at the front that says crops. I'd be interested to know down the line at some point or other what the acreage is there for demonstration plots, and also what the soil quality and condition is. I have heard perhaps that it's not wonderful, so we need to know that before we try to pitch to Grey Soil and Crop that maybe there's an opportunity for us to get involved there to do some demonstration plots. So
yeah, thank you for those comments, Madam Chair. Yeah, certainly be open to working with the agricultural societies and any other organizations like Soil and Crop. With respect to the quality of the soils, you're correct. It's not class 1 or class 2 soils in that regard. The site has, since the county acquired it, the site has been leased to a local farmer who is using it. It's been planted corn a number of years and various other things. So it's not perfect quality, but it is growable, so to speak. The other thing I'll say, just to Member Reid's comments, one of the things we'll need to work with the Niagara Escarpment Commission on is the final grading of the site. So when you're going through development approvals with the Niagara Escarpment Commission, they're very big on trying to maintain the natural contours of the lands and the escarpments to the extent possible. So they've certainly not told us that we can't make some grade changes on site, but it might not end up a fully flat level field in that regard. So we have to work with them, and we've tried to design the site around some of those existing contours so that there's not as much modification to the site. And certainly that's something that the NEC is keen on in that regard.
thank you. Wonderful. Last call for comments or questions. Not seeing any. Thank you, Scott and Hillary, for this excellent presentation. And like I said, very exciting news. Thank you. Moving on to 5D, Share the Road campaign. I'm assuming this is Savannah.
It is me. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Through you, Madam Chair, we were really pleased to get a question from Simon, actually, about could we bring a Share the Road update to the Ag Committee. So I'm happy to share that this is considered a joint effort now that's part of our core operation. So this is part of our annual work plan and budget now for economic development, tourism, and culture, as well as communication. So it's a joint between the two departments. A couple of updates since we talked last. So we have completed all of the Share the Road signage on county roads in North Grey. So those are the yellow signs that you see. All of them will be completed in South Grey on the county roads this year. We're actually getting ready. Hopefully the snow melts soon, and then we'll be able to start with that signage. But by the end of this year, all Grey County roads on our cycling routes will have Share the Road, which is a really good opportunity to remind folks on really, I guess, popular routes that we all have a responsibility when it comes to the road. We do have our billboards on Highway 6, on Highway 26, and then as well coming into the south of Grey in just around Clifford. So those 3 signs are billboards. They're permanently there. Those are county-owned billboards. So we took off our tourism signage and we replaced it with Share the Road and intend to keep it there for at least another couple of years. We will refresh them when the time is right, but they're still in great condition and the message is working. In the spring and fall, so during planting and harvest season, we will also purchase some billboard lease space so that we can get a couple of more messages that are new when it comes to that time. And that will also be complemented by a radio campaign as well as digital social media campaign. So we have the video that was created last year We will share that again this year with information on the website and then lots of social media boosting during those 2 core seasons. Reception-wise has been overwhelmingly positive. The only kind of negative receptions we've had is around the cycling side, but nothing to do with agricultural or horse and buggy. So I did want to share that because that is a question we often get. What is the reaction? But it has been overwhelmingly positive. There's a lot of love coming from the community, and we see lots of actual hearts on our social media posts when we do it and lots of discussion. I think of people just realizing how many different people and equipment need to share that road, and then it's all of our responsibility. So that has been really positive in our view, and we're happy to keep this as part of our core work as we go forward. So thanks to this committee, because you helped us prioritize it, we piloted it, it worked, and now it will stay there going forward. You're muted, Lori. You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Savannah. Appreciate that update. Anyone have any questions or comments? We appreciate all Grey County's efforts to ensure that all motorists know about all of us, other additional people on the road. So thank you very much for all of that support. We appreciate it. Okay, moving on. I'm assuming you're doing the Gather campaign. Oops, I see Simon's hand up now. Sorry. Simon, happy to have you. I didn't know you'd be with us today. So what is your question or comment, Simon? Appears that he has frozen. There he goes. Simon, we can't hear you for some reason. Something must be up with his internet.
Through you, Chair Smith, on the bottom left-hand corner of his screen, he should have the audio icon. There's a little arrow above that. It may allow him to adjust his audio settings.
Looks like he's freezing as well from time to time. And Simon, can you try again, please? Maybe this isn't going to work at the moment. He's probably going to say thank you as well, Savannah, for all of your effort. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that we can connect with Simon. Perhaps, Simon, if that can get fixed, you can bring that up in other business or roundtable if we can get your audio to work. Thank you. Okay, the Gather campaign, Savannah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Really pleased to bring an update on Gather campaign. I know we have been talking about it for a long time, but it has officially launched on Family Day. We launched the campaign digitally. We have a booklet as well that was taken to all of the trade shows in the GTA that we attend. And we also, for the very first time, took on OTT, so over-the-top advertising, which means that we are on Amazon Prime, Stack TV, to go digital in a different way. What we saw in the first week was really impressive. So we had 1,200 website visits, which is visitgrey.ca/gather. If you haven't looked at that, please do take a look. All 9 videos are on the webpage, and they are just awesome. It really does help us tell the story, tell our story of who we are and what is happening in the community. And the rationale behind these videos and this campaign is really twofold. The first is to build pride locally. So we are focusing our efforts locally so that our community can start to understand all of the cool things happening here, the amazing people that we have, and build that connection and that pride to realize this is Grey County, this is home, and we're all part of this. The second is to look to the GTA to attract tourists, because we know that most of our residents actually begin as tourists. So it's a great opportunity for them to fall in love with the area, spend some money here, get to know us while they decide where they will live in the future. So it really is twofold. And then at the end of the day, it all comes back to supporting local. This is an agri-food tourism campaign. That's how it started. We see a huge potential over the next couple of years to expand it to be more experiential and to really drive home this message. We know that the message is resonating as it is right now. We have a 98.52% completion rate of the videos, which is almost unheard of because you know how click happy everybody is. We fly through things, but these are 3.5 to 4 minute videos a piece, and almost 100% are being watched from beginning to end, which is phenomenal. With the over the top on Amazon Prime Stack TV, we had over 82,000 impressions in the first week. On social media, we had over 35,000 impressions in the first week, and on YouTube, 117 hours of watch time for these videos. And again, these are 3.5 to 4 minute videos. So we know that they are landing with the audience, which is exactly what we want. They're also being featured locally at attack games all throughout the rest of this season and right into next season. So that is planned. But I think we're just really excited to be sharing this and to have, you know, a real focus and support locally. And I don't think we could have said it any better than what Spring Hills said. So RJ, who used to be a committee member here on the Agriculture Advisory Committee, said that it was trout standing. So that's what we're going to stick with because we just love it. They play with words, but really appreciate seeing the business involvement, the pride being built, and just the realization that all of this amazing thing happening here in Grey County. So that's the update for you this morning.
Thanks so much, Savannah. Wonderful work, and love the enthusiasm and passion that you bring as well. Any other questions or comments for Savannah? Seeing none, that was wonderful. Thank you very much. Next, moving on to the roundtable discussion. So this is everyone's opportunity to talk about sector trends and challenges. Who would like to start us off? Tara, please.
Great, thank you, Chair Smith. I just wanted to note for the committee, we have lost some of our members. So we have lost quorum, but if there are any sector trends or challenges that you wish to raise, just in respect of everyone's time for being here today, please feel free to do so. We also have this as a standing item on all of our agendas. So there's an opportunity as well at the next meeting to bring any forward if you have any.
Thank you, Tara. And I always think that this is one of the most important parts of the meeting. So hopefully everyone has lots to contribute. Diane, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just the tariffs from the US president is going to be a very, very hard thing, I think, to work through. So we're just don't know what the outcome will be or how we're going to live through that. But anyway, so we'll endure.
Yes, Diane, it's definitely a time of uncertainty. And I heard yesterday from Kalina that maybe someone from Grey County can tell us about the page on the website that's been created to address some of the tariff concerns. Can someone speak to that? Savannah?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. We do have a business resource page. It's at grey.ca/business-supports. And it is the area that we are collecting all of the information that we are finding. So what we understand our role to be is very similar to the pandemic, where we will be attending as many possible sessions of information as we can to understand what's happening and what supports and programs are existing. That web page is where we will bring everything back to. So we just put up a link yesterday to EMC, which is Excellence in Manufacturing Consortium, around manufacturing and supply chain development that they are working on, and then added the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus Business Survey as well. So we think it still might be a little bit too early for the survey, but we want to make it available for anybody who is ready to go. So that information is on there. There's a special bulletin coming out again this afternoon to all of our economic development and tourism mailing list. So for anybody who isn't on that list, we really do encourage people to sign up for it. We do send a monthly newsletter and then special bulletins as it comes along. But those are the two biggest updates to it. And it also houses the Made in Grey brand. So as you know, from economic development, that has been our brand since 2016. We have been using it, actually started again in agri-food as a proudly Made in Grey brand to identify what was being grown here and produced here and sold here. But we have opened it up with a second version to all businesses. So any business in Grey County now has access to that brand. They can download the logo, they can use it however they wish, right on their products. They can use them in stickers, window decals, websites, social media, wherever it happens to be. We've opened it up completely because this really is a moment for us to be able to celebrate local and encourage all of the understanding of who really truly is here in Grey. We've got 13,000 businesses to be supported through this. So it's an interesting turn when, you know, we think of Gather campaign and Made in Grey branding and all of these things that were shuttered during the pandemic are now more important than ever in this very moment. So we couldn't have a better time to use the resources and tools we already have in our tool house. And then our staff, of course, are always here. We work with every one of our member municipalities around the clock, and we are regularly meeting on this. So you do have a full Grey County team here between us and member municipalities. If you have any questions, please let us know.
Thanks so much, Savannah. How do we get on the mailing list that you were mentioning?
Oh, there is a sign up. I'll put it in here as well, but there is a sign up right on grey.ca that you can look at any of our newsletters. And there's a lot of really good Grey County newsletters. So I encourage you to pick several.
Perfect. Thank you. Other questions or other sector trends and challenges that you are encountering? While you're thinking about it, I know as you travel along the roadways in all of Grey County and other places, snow load has caused havoc. There are a lot of barn structures down, sheds, etc., tarp structures as well. So that has a huge impact on farmers economically. Many of those barns or structures are not covered by insurance. The mental health, even the farmers did not lose their structures, the worry that those structures were going to come down and the amount of snow that was up there. So farmers that weren't able to get up onto those barns themselves were trying to find people that could get up there and shovel some of that snow off. So that's been a huge concern and definitely causing lots of issues. So that would be one of my top sector challenges at the moment, especially with all this rain making it worse. Keith, please.
So maybe not a challenge, but just to notify everyone that my position with Grey Salvo Conservation Authority, we are hosting a day on Friday for the planning staff to meet with tile drainage contractors within our region. So really looking forward to that. I'm sit on both sides of the fence, so I understand the planning side and the policy regards to the policy and what needs to happen. But also understanding the time sensitiveness of tile drainage works and how that the drains and the outlets and all of those concerns that affect neighboring properties and how all that works. So anyway, so it's going to be hopefully a great opportunity for tile drainage contractors to kind of air the laundry with our, I would say, very young planning staff, which I think is also a good thing going forward, that we have the opportunity to bring those problems and scenarios forward so that they can learn even actually what tile drainage, what the purpose of it is and why farmers are doing it. So anyways, we're hoping that so it'll be Friday from 10 till 2. We have Mary Valise from ABCA, the Salvo Bayfield Conservation Authority, as well as the farmer that's looking after the Huron View drainage. There's an example farm just outside of Clinton, where they're looking at different the retention ponds and holding water in tiles and stuff like that. So he's going to give his take on green infrastructure and things that we can implement into the original tile drain plans that we're doing. So, and then the afternoon after lunch is going to be just kind of an open discussion and a chance for planners and drainage contractors to talk back and forth. So maybe late in the game, Scott, but if you are available or anybody from your planning staff would want to attend, you're more than welcome to do that. And if there's anything you need from us, then just reach out to me and we can make that happen. The other thing that I will mention too, we have Warden Matrasov's on, and as well Diane Booker from 4-H, which I would like to make the connection. We learned a little bit yesterday about the Youth Climate Action Fund, and the possibility of actually looking at that as an opportunity for 4-H members to look into and apply, and maybe even look into what that would look like for 4-H clubs to look at. So might be a good opportunity to discuss a little bit about that as well. So.
Thanks, Keith. Yes, so Diane and Andrea, if you can connect. Andrea would like to speak. Thank you, please.
Thank you. And through you, the chair, absolutely. Thank you, Keith, for raising it. We do have some supportive workshops coming up too, so that if young adult leaders are looking to do something and they don't quite know how to do it and what to do, we want to be able to encourage them to brainstorm and come up with an application that'll be viable. Or if they already have an idea in their head and they're wondering, does this work or not? That's what we're here for. So I don't have all the dates and details in front of me, but with Megan Miles here at Grey County, as well as Nicholas Clowett, who is over at the Town Blue Mountains, the two of them are putting together lots of reach out that way, and certainly clubs, etc., are welcome to reach out to either of those staff resources to find out more details about it. Really, what the messaging is that if there are young adults, and this is age 15 to 24, if there are young adults out there who are interested in doing this, we want them to put an application in. You know, we being a former high school teacher, I know how sometimes you feel like it's got to be 100% correct before you submit an application. No, just send in what you're thinking of. And if send it in early ahead of the deadline. So if there is something that we need to see more of, then Nick or Megan will be able to reach out and say, here, you know, let us support you in this particular question, etc. So, and I'm more than, I am scheduled to come and speak to a couple of areas. So again, as the warden, I'm more than, not just this project, but more than happy to come out to 4-H clubs and chat about all sorts of things. So
thanks so much, Andrea. And Kalina mentioned yesterday that the grant writing workshops are on March 11th in Thornbury and March 13th in Meaford, and again for youth age 15 to 24. Randy, please.
Thank you, Chair Smith. And I was just going to mention those dates. I also put the link to the town's website for further information about the Youth Climate Action Fund as well, when Warden Matrosas was providing that overview. So yeah, as a warden indicated, really encouraging people to apply for this funding opportunity. We think it's a fantastic opportunity for youth in our communities.
Great, thank you. Blair, please.
I'm just a comment, I guess. Wondered if there are an opportunity in the future maybe to have an overview of any county infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, roundabouts, that kind of thing, just to get any input from this committee to, I guess, talk about any issues before they come up. Just thinking about that roundabout down by Hanover that had to be constructed, kind of changed on the fly, just because the width weren't sufficient for some big ag equipment. If there's opportunities to get in front of any things like that, that would be welcome.
Thank you, Blair. Randy, you'd like to speak to that, please?
Yeah, thank you for that comment and suggestion. Happy to have our county transportation staff attend to a future Agriculture Advisory Committee meeting and go over some of the capital projects. We do have a 10-year capital plan that identifies what we anticipate in terms of infrastructure projects over the next 10 years. But yeah, we can maybe highlight some of those upcoming projects and obviously get any feedback from the Agriculture Advisory Committee group in terms of making sure that obviously design considerations are taking consideration the various pieces of equipment that farmers use in our area, and making sure that everybody is accommodated the best we can through those designs. So yeah, happy to take that back, and I'll discuss further with our Director of Transportation, Pat Hoy, and we can see if we can have someone attend a future Agriculture Advisory Committee meeting.
Wonderful, thank you, Randy. Any other sector trends or challenges? Seeing none, moving on, is there any correspondence?
There is not, no.
Thank you, Tara. In terms of other business, perhaps I will start with that. As you know, we are in the midst of winter courses. The winter is a time for conferences and meetings, etc., because that's when farmers have a little bit of downtime, a little bit. And so Grey Ag Services, like every year, have a lot of courses. We had to modify the dates of many of them because of the election, and some of our facilitators were unable to present during that writ period, which is still continuing. So if you go to our Grey Ag website, we've tried to keep up with all the changes in our dates. So a lot of the courses are still to come. We had an amazing funding programs opportunity course yesterday that Grey County participated in, and that was a really great day. And so that's something we'll probably continue with on an annual basis, perhaps. Did want to mention that we have a Why Farm Insurance Matters course coming up on March 20th. There's also a Considering Renting Your Farmland webinar on Tuesday, April 1st, and a farm theft prevention on Wednesday, April 16th. And certainly there's been an increase, I think, in thefts on Grey County farms. So those are just a few of some wonderful courses. And so I do hope you'll take a look at the Grey Ag website, and please register by calling Grey Ag or emailing us. Does anyone else have any other business, please? Seeing none, the next meeting date is June 4th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And if anyone doesn't have anything else to say, we will adjourn at a very quick 1 hour and 15 minutes. Could someone please make a motion to adjourn? Andrea. Thank you very much for everyone for attending today. We look forward to our June meeting. Hopefully we'll see green grass before then. And so enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, thanks.